Alright guys, welcome to episode 17 of the Sold Out podcast with District Magazine. Do you want to introduce yourself, guys? What you do?
I'm Craig Connolly and I'm the director, for want of a better word.
Sweet.
I'm Eric Davidson and I'm the editor. Actually.
No, it's such a privilege to have you guys on. You know, you're like a huge influence and like kind of inspire me to do something. So like really appreciate it. And so like you guys have a lot kind of coming up. Obviously that you probably want to throw out at the start. So do you want to? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We've got when's this coming out?
Next week.
Next week. All right. So
Yeah.
Nabiha Iqbal. I hope it was good. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it. That was good crack. Then we've got a gig with Syrias Vibes with Scoop Foundation. So that's like a on the ground for like displaced people in like Syria. And we're doing that. We curated the early part of the lineup. It's like a hip hop like driven part of the lineup.
So who's playing at that? It's like, is it still the?
It's Y Axis.
Yeah.
Who's playing a live set. He's got like the guitar elements too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's gonna be nice. Finch is doing a set, and then Alfie South and Don Cobbs are
Sweet.
doing a set too, which is really exciting. Oh, and Mango is doing a DJ set with Tara Stewart from 2FM. That'll be announced by the time this comes out.
Yeah, yeah. Sweet. You can throw that out there. It's grand. Like getting the insider scoop.
Yeah. Exclusive.
Yeah, and then obviously like the whole magazine side of things as well. Just like for people to keep an eye out on the
issue 5 will be out on the 19th of October. Ish.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a Thursday, the launch. Friday is the launch.
Yeah.
So the details of that haven't been announced. We've got some cool shit.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah. Keep an eye. Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting. So we're going to be linking up with a cool brand for that once again. In a venue that we done 19. Oh yeah, we did it once before there. But yeah, so everything will be announced anyway.
Very
Yeah.
That's
it. Like, but you guys are busy on the events. Like, did you have a background in events before all of this?
Yeah.
I started
Really,
doing events like 10 years ago.
Fair.
Then Eric started doing stuff with us about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
7 years ago. And like I was a promoter basically for about 6 or 7 years.
That makes sense because I was like, man, these guys are putting in work with the events.
It was to be honest, like we wanted to start this, well I did, to sort of move away from doing the event side of things and actually just doing, you know, gigs that we were really, really passionate about and just really, really interested in doing. So yeah, like I was running club nights like Bruce Willis and Strange Ways and stuff like that, and Trainwreck and Techno and Cans and stuff like that for like a decade. And then I realised that like I'm approaching a decade. We should probably stop doing this.
And
now
focus
we're
on
actually
something.
like spent the first 2 minutes of this talking about the gigs that we're So I don't think, like, in theory I'm not a promoter anymore, but we're doing fucking loads of gigs.
But I mean
it's a different climate though. It's not like the weekly club night where you're like,
because you can do it when you want, what you want.
Exactly. And it's sort of for stuff that like say the Nabiha gig that went really well, that will have happened.
Hopefully.
is so different to say the Syrias Vibes show in the sense that it's one's a DJ set on NTS and the other is like local hip hop and stuff like that.
And then I'd say last year we curated the lineup for the Red Bull Free Gaff, so to be able to come in and do stuff like that is just totally different to what we would have been. But in saying that though, like I say we, but like mostly Craig and Sam Greenwood were running a hangar as well. It started hangar from the get-go, and so like when the magazine in its sort of fledgling stages wasn't making any money, that's how we made money, was doing gigs,
was doing the events. That makes sense.
So there's a purpose there, but and it wasn't, we didn't have to do anything that wasn't like, you know, what we wouldn't like to do. So like it was we're still putting on cool gigs,
exactly.
And to make money, the gig side of it was just, you know, was never going to be our primary thing. And it's good now, it's kind of swung that like even though we are doing a good few gigs, that's just now, like we went through the whole summer with not really doing that many. We kind of took our foot off on purpose because we launched the
coming back hard now though. Like, there's a good few coming up.
Like and it's good to be able to go, I really enjoy the fact that we're doing such varied stuff in spaces like that. So it is good. It definitely was like needs must at the start. Now it's not, and I think that's sort of like, I love the idea of doing it.
Exactly.
I think I'll always have that in my head. I think Eric gets a buzz out as well. So if there's gigs there to be done, we'll do them.
Only in good spaces.
Yeah.
We're not doing them for the sake of them anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's kind of like the freedom now that like it's kind of not needed, like you're saying, that you can kind of do what you want at your own leisure, like.
100%.
And like, did you have a background then in the magazine side of things before that, or?
I did English and philosophy in college, and I always wanted to be editor of a magazine. That was my buzz, like from a like silly young age. I think I remember watching Almost Famous and being like, oh shit, that's cool. It's definitely not as cool as that. Now you don't go on tour with the artist.
Yeah, now you're just like staring at InDesign or whatever.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but so like I definitely wanted to do it for a long time, and then I started I finished college and I was gonna do like a master's in journalism, and then I just decided. I got a job in a place called Be Creative Media to do. I was doing like they did like supplements for like the Independent and the Herald. So we were like writing pieces for that.
And was that kind of focused on like the stuff that you do now? Would it be similar now?
No, it was really varied. It could be like
they just sent you on whatever, like.
But it was the best because it's like you're talking to people that you didn't really care about what they're thinking about, but you still had to get the best answers out of them. Whereas so that like sort of trains you up to like talk to people you really love and trying to get the best out of them.
Exactly.
But like it could have been writing something about like the Fairy House Racecourse, or it could have been a festival thing, or it could have been
like not every week was as exciting as the last like. No.
But again, as I said, it was like proper, giving you the tools to like sort of go on, and then it was just that was on like sort of semi-freelance sort of base. Well, it was full time, but if things were quiet, had a bit of downtime. That's when I started District as a blog. Yeah, and then it was and then I as Craig said, we started Bruce Willis together when I was in college. And then I failed my Thursday class because of Bruce Willis, so I had to go back and do another semester. So I was like, I need to stop the club nights for a little while. And then me and Craig just like sort of linked back up again after a while, because Craig started seeing me doing District. And we had planned to do a magazine called
I was going to ask if there was anything ever before, because I know District's been going since what, like 2017, like
2014.
2014.
So the website's actually been going since 2014.
As the blog,
I can completely understand why people would think it was 2017.
Yeah, because was that the first print issue?
The first print issue was the tail end of 2016.
Yeah, 2016. So it was more just online. And we were just sort of using that to find our feet.
Yeah,
as we were saying, like there was the sort of gigs in the background, and that was taking up a lot of time. But we sort of knew we were onto something, and it was just about how we actually grew that out to what it would actually become.
Yeah, exactly.
It was actually good though to have that, because like launching like a physical magazine and haven't got this community.
Yeah, there's no point in pushing something out and there's no one there.
Exactly. So it's like we had this like base of followers, and we had a couple of parties. Obviously, had a couple of like.
That's parties. The important part.
Had a couple of parties like under the District bracket, and then by the time the print idea came about, like we had it in nowhere on. I'm sure you know. So we had that on Angel Street, and like it was capacity there. It's probably like 50 people, and like Craig had to sit across the road. Because he couldn't get in.
I actually found the receipt for Bow Lane. I had to sit in Bow. because I was doing tax shite. It's rubbish. But I saw that and I was like, oh my god! I was like, I couldn't even get into our own launch party. But it was in a venue for 50 people, and now we're like doing stuff in like the complex and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll hold on to that. Claim the VAT back on
that's
it.
Like that's kind of like what you were saying earlier about them moments. Like you were telling that story about Finch, like having to put like. Do you want to tell that story just because like?
Oh yeah. Well, if Finch actually sent us an email. I didn't open it, and he obviously didn't do it. He obviously didn't frame it properly. But no, it just gets sent it gets sent to.
I can imagine.
Amount of emails every day with music, so it's really difficult to go through them all. And he sent me another email. I have it in my head that it's like, here, young fella, read this, but he definitely didn't say that. It was just like, hey, I'm just following up on this. Could you mind listening to my music? And I did actually listen to it. I was like, oh, this is actually deadly.
Yeah.
So like I think I'd say probably like a month later, but we booked him for a gig. It was our set. It was the follow up. We had a gig the previous month in the basement of the St. William with Kojak, and the following month we just like put on this another one, and it was just like a neighborhood watch party, we called it, with all like different artists. So like Nonsis, I think Nonsis, Y-Axis, and who else was there? Someone else on it? I feel like there's someone else. I think the New Sense lads are on it as well. And Finch was on it, and Finch was supposed to be on first, and then we went up to a couple of the artists being like, oh, will you you're on it this time. Like, oh no man, sorry, I have to get a bus. So I went up to Finch and I was like, yeah, they're supposed to be on 11, you're actually closing the night.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So it's just, he absolutely killed it though.
Yeah.
And that's, I think I mentioned to you, like we were starting the label, and I was like, we'll sign him up, even though the label is like very, it's a very like offshoot of what we do. It's not really something that we actually have a lot of time for, which is annoying because we really thought we wanted to push it, but at the time we were like, sign him up.
That's it. Like, but it's kind of so natural to start expanding out into these fields. Once you start like the magazine or whatever, then you end up with a podcast, and then you end up with like you have your fingers in so many pies. Like,
exactly.
We're definitely like of the opinion where we'll try something, and if it doesn't work or we're shy at it, we just won't do it again. And most of the time we are shy at it. But the stuff that we
but you learn so much. Like,
you learn so much, and the fact that like the main thing is to actually enjoy it. Like we're quite lucky that we actually work for ourselves.
100%.
And that's the sort of. And if that fun element goes from it, then what's the point? So we'll try stuff if it's fun and it works, unreal. If it doesn't, fuck it.
Yeah, that's it. Like, and like, it's kind of the interesting thing you were saying about just in terms of like working for yourself, like you failing that kind of Thursday class and stuff, like, because it's all stuff that people encounter when they want to start something. And like, what kind of advice would you give to someone just starting out? Because I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of like young people, like whether they're doing music or doing editing or doing whatever, like just listening to us. So how did you kind of like
I think
even manage your
inadvertently
time?
Like inadvertently we've sort of been speaking with all the new people that are coming through that want to do stuff, and like bring them up to our office or we go meet them, and just be incredibly frank with them. Like there is like so many brick walls you'll hit.
Exactly.
Like there's absolutely so many. The financial element that Eric mentioned is one thing, but there's also just like you need to get a thick skin if you do want to make it sort of commercially successful.
Exactly,
if you want to make sure that you can have a career from this, and you want to make a product or something that people will actually enjoy and come back to. And that was sort of the thing where it's like knocking on doors, and of course people are going to say no because they haven't experienced it yet. And then I think it's just go do it, like the way you just did the first issue, and the second issue is going to be coming out. You just did it. And that's probably the best.
You could be repulsed by the first issue, and like we are with issue 1 of District. Not that I'm saying this. But like, you know, we're looking at that going like, get that away from me. It's nowhere near what we wanted to be at this stage, because we're looking at it in comparison to where we're at now.
Exactly.
But what I would say advice wise is to not have that like X Factor first round mentality of like, I'm deadly.
That's it. Like,
get pissed off with people because you think you're deadly and you're not there yet. And if people don't, like, say for the music thing especially, like if you get sent something and people get pissed off about not being
kind of getting booked on something,
it's like
featured,
don't get pissed off about it. And like, you know, maybe first there's a number of reasons why it might not happen. It's like it doesn't suit the aesthetic or the direction of a certain publication, or like even like this, you know what I mean? Or, you know, it's just it needs more work in a certain area. But like, always take advice, like, because we were told this is wrong, and then sometimes you go, no, fuck you, it's not. And then you go, okay, right, we'll dwell on that. And sometimes they're wrong, and you and again, like what Craig said, it's trial and error, and you just sort of like, you have to use your gut sometimes as well. But it's important not to at the beginning be really confident in your ability, because there's always room to learn. I think, like, you need to be really open to it. Like,
we sort of have like a thing that we joke about where we're saying, if you start something and you look back on it in 6 months and you don't think it's shit, then you probably haven't done well enough in the 6 months since.
Exactly.
And that's sort of like, that's what we're saying with issue 1. I think this early podcast that we record, and we're like, geez, that's brutal. Really sorry to whoever we had on for that. But you know, like that.
But we've experienced that already as well. Like people like who listen to us, like you'll see episode 6 or something, we were recording upstairs, like one mic and a webcam, and like, you know, I'm sitting here like a robot being like, tell me about your album, and like there's no conversation.
One of the best things about that is that you can look back and go, well, if I've done that in say 6-7 months, then in 6-7 months time, how is this going to be? How's this going to shape up? And you mentioned like the sort of bucket list people that you'd like to have on it. It's only like, I think we were sort of like, oh, why doesn't Kendrick want to be on the cover of our magazine or something like that? And you go, well, of course he doesn't. And you need to like put that work in.
Exactly,
I think it's like, I'm very impatient with these sort of things, and I think that's one of the hardest things. But once you actually get your head around just going, oh, I look back, like I was saying, I looked at that receipt and I was like, geez, that was only like 18 months ago, but it feels like years ago.
It does,
Like once you can actually look back on those things and go, oh, well, if we've moved on from that, then you go, that's enough to keep you going forward again.
Because you see the progress like in yourself. It's kind of almost that thing of like not being discouraged by like, you know, someone that's bigger than you, because like you can only be in competition with yourself a little bit as well, because like somebody else's success, like, you know, they could have started, there's so many different variables.
100%. Like the hardest thing you personally need to get by is always yourself, and that's really like wanky shite. Like,
but it's
it is true. Nonsense. It is, it's pseudo intellectual bullshit. That like it is a meme, but in many ways it's true. Like as you're saying, like we can't compare ourselves to other establishments or things that, because they've been around for ages.
Exactly.
They've been around since like pre-digital era. So of course, print magazine is going to have that foundation. We're trying to get to that level. It will take time, and we're happy enough with that.
Exactly, yeah. And that's one of the things as well. People always underestimate how long it's going to take. That's like, you know, even when we started, it's like you kind of expect everything to happen so quick. But I think it's like we're, like I'm saying, 17 episodes in now or something. And it's like you kind of realize that it literally takes 17 weeks of pushing something in front of people before they're even kind of like, let me click on to their first episode, you know what I mean? You need to push out 20 and get it in front of them before they even, like, it needs to cement itself in people's kind of brains for so long.
And if they like it, they'll go back and sample the rest.
Exactly, but it just takes so long to kind of get it in front of people. Yeah, like, and where did you get kind of the, I suppose, like the passion of promoting like the Irish scene? Like, when did that all start? I mean, I presume from kind of organising gigs. But
to be honest, like when we started District, there was definitely a lot more electronic music stuff in it, and then we realised that it was too jarring for what we were sort of actually more interested in. And Eric definitely was pushing the Irish hip hop stuff a lot, and like all that. Like that sort of became what District is known for. So a lot of people is pushing that, and that was just through him with a passion just for listening to good new music. And like that's the likes of, say, like early Kojak and Mango.
Although I would say it's kind of interesting, like I feel like obviously Ireland did have a massive electronic culture, and it's only kind of recently that the hip hop thing has really exploded. But it has really exploded, to be fair as well. Like you're saying with Kojak, and even last night with
Slow Tie and stuff coming in. Like he was saying that's his biggest gig he's ever played. And for that to be a Monday night in the Workman's shows that there is that appetite there.
And Luca coming out to sing Tea and Biscuits with him on stage, and him not rapping and watching Luca Pan rap his most famous song as the last song, which, you know, it's like having the trust in an 18 or 19-year-old young fella from Dublin who's a rapper is just class, you know.
And even to like, they brought Kojak out during Luca's set, and like he was received like he was, you know, this is an international
like
guest.
Meek Mill coming out for Drake.
Exactly, and it really was like people were like, fucking play the whole EP. Like play Delhi Dangerous,
shouting politics in the background, like.
And you're like, these lads aren't, it doesn't matter where they're from now, they're huge, like they're a big deal, and they're getting, like, fair play to them, they're getting reception further field, like you see in the UK playlists all the time.
100%.
That is one of the reasons why as well, like I think that's what you're about to say, is why we started 4-4 magazine as well, is because and the group 4-4, because we were getting all these promos in of like house and techno, like really good discerning house and techno, and like this is really good, and we, you know, especially in the office that we were in, and at the time, like at the very probably peak of like Hangar, when it was at its like most flying stage, we were getting all this house and techno in, and we were like, we need somewhere to house this, because it doesn't work on District, even though it's still good music, because we need to have one direction. So that's why we started 4-4 as well. That was another like string to our bow, and that group, and obviously seeing like groups like Tune Drop and people just posting like memes and nonsense. Like you just need somewhere to actually post music. So that for house and techno, and I'm not a massive house and techno fan. The office collectively is. Like I'm into electronic music in some respect. That's why I had to start the Irish hip hop forum, because they kept giving out to me about posting hip hop in 4-4. Like no one's listening, man.
You have to kind of like prove that almost in the office. Like it's so hard when you're the only one. Like for something.
No, there was a lot of like like when the good music came up, but it was like no one else wanted to scare through the dregs.
Yeah. And I think when you say like dregs, I think it was like Ireland has really caught up with the rest of the world in terms of like production, the quality of stuff that's actually going out. So when we say dregs, it literally just means that we weren't there. No one was there. Like there was very 100%. Few people that you could actually say they're operating at a level that you would go, okay, that's international standard, that deserves to be on that. So, and now it's there. It's more, the stuff that goes up onto the site now is international standard. And I don't think we could have said that 3 years ago, to be honest.
No, that's what I mean. It's really exploded recently. Like even we'll probably just wrap up on the break with this, but like the Versatile lads at Post Malone, like they clashed with him at Longitude, and like they still had a massive crowd, like and it's the same at Electric Picnic. Like I've started a new job, and in the train, and a lad was like, out of the whole festival lineup, he hasn't stopped talking about Versatile. It's like you just mentioned, Kendrick was there, all these people were there, and he hasn't shut up talking about them, you know. So it's insane to see.
Well, I think Irish people are very good at supporting their own. But I think it is a case of like, it used to be, oh, they're Irish, I need to support them. Whereas now it's like, I'm going to support them because they're really fucking good. And it's like that sort of glass ceiling is gone. I think like we've said this loads of times before, Ireland, we used to have this sort of like inferiority complex, and that's gone every single time someone like Kojak or the lads bring out new music, and you go, that's the same as that. Get over it. Like that's it now.
100%. So we'll go on this break. We'll be right back. You guys won't see this, but yeah, it'll just kind of click.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, what a break.
Like,
Yeah.
What do we call them?
Feel so relaxed.
What are the moments? What do we call them?
Little,
kind of like little jams, like.
This is like a...
it's like setbacks or anything.
No,
like
the,
a watershed.
like a watershed.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing.
Really,
that I was
yeah.
saying.
A couple of
So-
watershed
so-
ones. The one for the magazine was definitely getting Mike Skinner on the cover of issue 2.
Yeah.
Because that went from Nigel, who's an excellent LA artist. She's unbelievable. And, like Eddie Scrice did a really nice shoot with her, and like we learned a lot from issue 1. And then to go from that to the design and stuff as well wasn't what we want. Like we just sort of, it was just one of those things. It was issue 1, so we learned a lot.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Like you always kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Your first episode is always a bit, or like whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And then issue 2, we got Mike Skinner. We got to shoot with him in London, and he hadn't announced the Streets yet.
Yeah.
And when it came out, the Streets thing was announced, and it was just like the timing was just like
Yeah,
unbelievable.
perfect.
Like,
It's nothing better when that kind of like it just works out even
yeah,
as well.
Yeah, and then like a year later, that December we had Mike over for our Christmas party DJing, and it was just like
Sweet.
very serendipitous sort of situation. Especially we're all like massive fans of him.
Yeah.
For our entire lives.
Yeah, and like not just like that album is probably my favourite album, like
Really?
Original Point Material. Yeah, so it's quite surreal. I'm never more nervous for an interview.
Yeah.
You actually
Get the
hung up
proper
on me, but I
shakes,
don't
like-
think
He hung
that
up
well.
on Craig.
Yeah.
But Craig was told.
Was it a phone interview like?
Yeah.
It was a phone interview, and it was going really, really well. And actually, I brought him over like 6 months previous
Yeah.
for like a
Tonga.
Christmas for a Tonga party that I used
Yeah.
to do with Merkage and stuff. And
Gaika was
got
in it as well, was it?
Gaika and stuff, and like got along with him really, really well. And we were chatting away about that, and like talking about his mate brought him to a castle the next day, and we were chatting for ages. And the agent said, "Just don't mention the Streets."
Right.
And I was like, "That's fine. I'm not going to mention the Streets. I'm sure he's sick of it." And I know that he'd hung up on like the Telegraph and other publications. So all I said was like, "You run a label now, as someone like as
15
someone
years
that
after
released
or whatever, like.
as someone that released their debut album 15 years ago.
Yeah.
This week, because it was this week.
Yeah.
That's why he's doing the fucking press, whatever." I was like, what advice would you give to yourself now?
Yeah.
And he just hung up, and I was like, and I was sort of
Craig
like,
came in like
sound.
he hung up, and I was like, "Oh my god, the interview's gonna get cancelled."
Yeah,
well, like I had about 20 minutes of like actually really
good
good
stuff,
talk to
like,
him.
yeah.
Like talking to him, and he said boo, and I was like, hello, and then I knew what happened straight away, and like the blood just ran. I was like, oh my god, and I started trying to ring him back, and he just kept hanging up straight
What did
away.
you text him say or
So I
something
texted him,
like
I was
that? Oh, no
like,
way.
hey, we got disconnected. I really want to wrap this interview up with like talking about your label and stuff like that, and he just turned his phone off, and I just went into the other room with the lads. I was like, lads, he's after hanging up the phone on me, and we managed to like it's still a good interview. It's still really, really insightful, and you still get the sense about what he is. But like he just hung up on me, and I was like, I suppose fair enough. That's
And then
his
we had
thing,
him.
that's his
We
thing.
had him back over for the party.
And then I mentioned it to him, and he was like, yeah, well. Yeah. I think he was doing it as like part of like just a publicity thing more than
Yeah,
anything.
even-
Like he really fucking hates the Streets, and then 3 months later he announces the Streets are coming back and stuff. So I'll leave him
Sometimes
to it.
that sort of stuff happens.
Yeah,
But like
it's
that
fun.
was kind of like we were just saying. Obviously, we won't mention who or what, but like sometimes when you're doing the hustle, like it just stuff happens with you, and you're like, even if you think you're getting that big break or something, it might like not go perfectly. Like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it's so easy to
consistently.
get to start. Like
You just have to roll the punches, and like that's happened. There's been lots of setbacks, and that's the most important thing. Is just to be like, as you said earlier, have thick skin, and just as you said, hustle a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And you kind of always put like that positive spin on it, like you were saying. Like the interview still is great, you know.
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
kind of have to like,
Yeah.
like no one knows that he hung up when you asked him that question.
Yeah,
if you don't
I
say
have
it.
told
Do you know
everyone
what I
that
mean?
I've spoken to about that, but like if you read the interview, you don't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
the sense
Do you know
of
what I
that.
mean? So
I
it's fine.
wanted to be like, at this point, Mike hung up the phone, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Don't do that." I was like,
Yeah.
"Right, whatever." I'll always try and go to like be a little
And
bit
then
of a
they're like,
bollocks.
"No."
Yeah, and he's like, "Rein it in." It's fine. It's always the right decision, but like, I'd still
That's
love
what-
to have been like,
No, but then when you always do one that's like that little bit too far and it works, I'm like, oh fuck. You know?
I love chancing my arm with that stuff.
But that's it. Like, if you don't try, you won't get anywhere as well.
Exactly.
And that personality,
Not
like,
every time. Not every time.
no, we've been burnt loads of times. But like, it's all part of it. It's all part.
but again, like if you don't ask, you don't get. You know.
yeah,
so-
exactly. Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword. Like.
Yeah. We've got a nice yin yang going on.
Yeah, it's a good yin yang. Yeah, because definitely like the district to be burnt to the ground. If I was like just like, well, actually earlier on today, we can say this now because it was in good spirits. But we got an email because we didn't put up a lineup for someone,
right?
And it's like, what should we have done to have this included? And then Eric just wrote back, and this is something I'd do. It was like, we just don't really like it, and I was like, oh my god, he actually sent that. Like, that's amazing. And like,
they grow so fast.
Yeah, I was like, that's amazing. That's so.
And then I wrote back. I was like, just send it on to me. I'm only joking. Or whatever. It's like,
because it was a joke. We get along the person really well, so it's like.
It's just, and then Neve from the other room, Neve ran in. She goes, "Did you mean to send that to him?" But yeah, maybe you're rubbing off on me a bit too much.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all part of the fun of it. Like,
exactly.
we like having a bit of crack with the people that we sort of work with, and we work with a lot of sort of like brands and venues and stuff. And like, if you just break it down and talk to them as a person rather than someone that like you're both trying
to kindest regards, and just leave that out. Like, just like
fucking talk to them. Like,
because you wouldn't talk to these people. Most of these people are just sound people that want to work with a brand like us, and they're a brand that want to be aligned or whatever. So when you talk to them in person, like, you know, you don't talk to them like that. You don't go, you know, dear X, hope you're having a good weekend. You know, you don't talk to people like that. So you might as well be like,
be more authentic with.
Be more authentic,
like,
and like going to meetings in shorts.
Yeah,
they
like, love that.
Yeah.
All the people up in like the Grand Canal and stuff. I showed up in shorts. They're like, whoa, doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. But that's it. It's more authentic.
Yeah.
That
Topless
personality.
Starkers, Nathan.
You didn't get that.
Yeah, we didn't get that.
Not that one.
Not that one. Yeah.
But yeah, like that personality even comes through. I feel like rather than just trying to be this like, you know, corporate like thing of like being too polished almost. You know?
Yeah.
So how many people have you just got kind of involved now?
So we have James McGurk is our in-house designer. He designs the guide.
Yeah.
So he's full-time in the office. And then Sam Greenwood manages 4-4, and he also just started a new agency called the Building Society. So he looks after like Kedman, Tommy Houlihan, and like 20 other people.
Yeah.
Then it's myself and Craig, and then Hannah O'Connell is the guide's deputy editor. So me and her work on the guide every month. She's also the deputy editor essentially of the biannual.
Yeah.
So that's she works out of office. She has another job. She's a show on Spin and 103.8 as well on Sundays.
Yeah, Urban Hits. It's Urban Hits 9:00. Spin 103.8.
Shout out.
Good, like. Yeah,
actually
good
hip hop.
Good hip hop. Yeah,
actually good hip hop for
Spin.
Like, yeah, but even for like national radio, like she's probably the only one actually playing that sort of music, which is cool. So
yeah, it's really cool.
And she plays a lot of Irish music too. And then also we've got Neve Craven, who is our like podcast manager. She's going, could be like taking over your job.
Yeah.
So she helps out with 4-4 magazine as well, which what Sam works on too. And then Rachel Bailey is just recently started, and she looks after like sort of partnerships and stuff like that. And then we have Elias Grace and George Varnoff from Junior Magazine. So they work. They don't like work for us or anything.
Yeah,
like that,
just
they work in our
you'd
studio.
be,
So they do like they run Junior, and they like have their own like they work for like ID and Days and Vice and stuff like that. Like, but they also shoot a lot of our work.
Yeah, and like Elias would like creative direct some of the projects, brand projects and stuff that we do. So it's good. Like there's a really nice balance.
And then Johnny Brennan externally every 6 months he designs the biannual.
Yeah, sweet.
So it's a really solid team.
Yeah, no, that's dope. And did you just kind of just meet everyone along the way, like, or did you just kind of have
a mixture? Like,
I genuinely think like most people that we've met Eric through going out. I met Sam through just going out. Like, and he was like, definitely met Sam through going out. He'll love us for saying that. But yeah, like I think most of the time it is like we were aware of Elias and George like massively, and it's just like I can't remember how we first met.
Yeah.
Do you know that sort of way? And like even with James, like James is friends with Ed Fay. He used to like. He's a good friend of ours and would have done the door and hanger, and he's just sort of like, hey, he does design, and that's it. Like it's all been very organic.
It's no interviews, and that's kind of what I'm getting at as well.
Sometimes, well, like, of late, it has been it's turned into that, and what a lot of the time it works out is like internships turn into full-time jobs. That's what happened with Neve. Neve Craven, who's doing the podcast, is looking after podcasts at the moment for us. That's what she did. Like she came in and we were like, she actually like is working so hard. That's all we want.
You
know what I mean? It's just like someone to like absolutely work their arse off and just be like totally immersed in the project for what it is, and like be into good music.
She gets it. Like it's I don't like, you know yourself. It's the type of stuff you can't fake.
Yeah.
And if it is being faked, it's so
exactly,
transparent. I also want to give a shout out to Cody Collins.
Oh yeah,
best young writer in the country.
Yeah,
very good.
He moved away though. So
he moved to France and now he's back in Galway for like final year of college. But yeah, excellent writer. Sweet. He does stuff for District and 4-4.
Yeah. Is there anyone else we're missing? Because we're definitely going to miss
probably.
Because that's really back. So I completely forgot about Cody. We've got loads of freelance writers and photographers as well that work on loads of different bits.
Yeah, and even the events and stuff, I assume as well.
Like, it's mostly just us.
People that just like going out.
Yeah. But like no, there's freelance photographers and writers in like
everything.
Yeah, and there's ones in London, LA, Berlin, New York. Like, they're all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Because you need them there as well.
Yeah, and they're like, it's cool. Like, there's a lot of Irish links to a lot of those people, like, which is cool as well. Like, I say, like Elsa Breitling, for example, lives in New York, and she's really talented photographer, and she like started off here and like moved over there. So it's like, it's nice to have that link too. That's not obviously a necessity. Like, you don't really care about that, but it's like that's usually how you get linked up with these people. Because they, either went to NCAD or they went to Griffiths. And
you kind of know,
you know what I mean, all this sort of stuff. Like, so.
And then cool. I guess just kind of like you touched on it earlier, I was just kind of curious, like when all those emails come through, whose kind of like job is it to like go through it? Like yours? Yeah. And like, do you have any process for it? Or like
no, like there's key giveaways of whether it's going to be good music. To be honest with you, at the moment, with the way the site has gone, is the guide is like a multifaceted, like multi-genre sort of platform. So every month, if someone's playing in the city, it could be like an indie person, like say like Soccer Mommy, or it could be like we had Damien Dempsey on the cover, like, you know what I mean. So there's no rules for that magazine.
Yeah.
For the biannual, it's like people that are like super forward thinking, it's like
really kind of like pushing the culture.
Like, and it's not necessarily Irish. You've got like Irish in it, but like there's, the photography is super high quality.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like what goes up on the site now, it's like mostly hip hop, R&B, and electronica. So like anytime anyone sends music, even if it's good music and it's like indie or it's like something like that, it doesn't usually go up.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to be like, okay, look, I can't, and you can't reply to everything either.
Yeah,
so if someone sends you an email, like, you're like, I actually do listen to a lot of the music. Yeah. So even if it doesn't go up on the site, and I've got a radio show as well, so it's on RT Pulse, and it's not just hip hop anymore. It's going to be like quite multifaceted as well. Yeah, like weird stuff.
Yeah.
So that a lot of the stuff, if it doesn't go up on the site, it can go on that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but then in terms of like hip hop, I listen to every single hip hop.
Yeah, because like that's your baby. Like
everything that's sent in. There's not enough time in the day to give feedback on everything. Sometimes you give feedback on like positive or negative.
Yeah.
And then
if it's particular one or the other, like
but like if you see potential, especially like, if you're like, this is actually, this isn't where it needs to be, and it's like I wouldn't consider it. Like,
but at
the end of the day, I'm just one fucking person. I don't like like my opinion is like minuscule in the scheme of things. So like that's what I was saying earlier on. Like, you just don't get offended by people who don't pick up on your stuff. But no, I don't know if there's a process. I think it's just like listen to as much as possible. If it's and it doesn't even need to be like, this isn't good enough for district. It's just not district enough for district. Yeah, is the main thing to keep in mind. Because this is like me finally saying to everyone who's like,
tell them how to send an email.
Not getting replies.
Please.
No, there's no way to send an email. It's just about the music. 100%. If the email's shit and like there's honestly, if there's like no subhead and it just says Irish hip hop, and like you click in and it's good, I'll write back and go, can I have like 2 paragraphs of quotes and a press shot, please? And I'll put this up. And usually they get back on like full list. But like actually no, that's a really good bit of advice. When you're sending something, send a press shot, send 2 pull quotes about yourself and about the release, and just make it easy for the writer. Not even for me, but like for any other writer that they're sending to. They like, some people don't have an affinity for Irish hip hop, so they're not gonna like get back, do that research. Exactly. Well. Yeah, exactly. So like that's a really important bit of advice. Like, make it as easy as possible for the journalist to get who you're sending to, because most people just don't have the time or they don't care. So
100%. Is there anything you just want to like particularly close with or anything? I suppose like just kind of recycle those upcoming dates and that. Well, I think probably the most, I'm not going to say the most important because someone will get feel bad, but I'm looking forward to issue 5 coming out. You have to be really careful with them words.
I think just in case, because it's only twice a year, so it's that little bit more important. And we always throw like a pretty good launch party.
So that's,
and like people keep an eye on like the social media and stuff.
And it's usually Were we doing it free? I can't remember. We're doing it free and you pay for a magazine, you get a free drink or something like that. That's
we'll
what
do something like that.
So it's like if it's free but if you buy a magazine, which are like a tenner, you get a free drink from whoever the sponsor is. That's usually how it goes. Don't quote me on that.
Stupidly good value.
Exactly. Yeah.
Swines.
And we've got some really cool people involved. We just did a shoot. We can say a few bits. Just did a shoot with Slow Tie actually.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be sick.
Gemma Dunleavy.
Gemma Dunleavy is going to be in it.
Which is very exciting for us because we actually haven't had an Irish person on the cover of the actual...
You were saying, not the biannual.
Not the biannual, yeah. No. So that's really, really exciting.
Yeah.
Like Gemma, we've known Gemma for years as well. And she went to college in Liverpool. I always sort of felt that we'd like have lost her to London.
Yeah.
And now she's back and she's like made that video and it's just like...
Dazed.
It came out in Dazed. It just looks... incredible.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of stuff where like Ireland, it's there. Like it's right 100%. There in front of you. So it would be remiss of us to not feature people like that.
Yeah, and then also we've got like offset that with like say we've got like a boogie with the hoodie from Alpha Records. Actually no, that one's not confirmed yet, so just like that.
Screw it.
Yeah, actually try and beep that if you can. That's definitely not allowed to be said that.
Who else we got Green Tea Peng is going to be interviewed. Kuko
Joji from 88 Rising.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
We're shooting Joji this week in LA. And who the fuck else?
We're not. Someone else is.
I know, but still, that's like...
Well, you're going off to London Monday.
I'm going to London. You're going to Brilliant.
Yeah. We're going to have to shoot a few bits for issue 5 next week, so...
next week is...
It sounds really glamorous, but it's absolutely not. Like, literally €9 flights, Ryanair, 7 o'clock in the morning to fucking...
home that evening.
Nottingham or something like that.
Yeah, home that evening,
I don't even know if I have a couch to sleep on over there. Yeah. I'm going to be like,
it sounds like we're both jetting off, but we're not. We're actually getting shit done. So,
exactly.
No, it's exciting. So, yeah, everyone's more than welcome to come to that. Come to the Serious Vibes gig too. That's really important. Come to... Yeah, that's what that like that.
We've a gig in mid-November that isn't out yet. But we're like, if it's announced by the time that this sort of goes out,
I'll put it
in. That's really exciting. Yeah, really exciting.
It's like Slow Tie level of exciting.
Okay, you can tell me after.
Yeah. That's gonna be sick. So that's not 100% yet, but like that'd be great. To come to that. That's like mid-November. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're gonna be launching a couple of podcasts as well. You can just mute this whole bit now.
Yeah.
So we're going to be Perfect Day in Dublin, which Niamh, that Eric mentioned, she's going to be looking after. So we're just getting like some of our favourite people in Dublin just to go through what their ideal day would be.
Yeah.
It's been a really like successful addition to the monthly guide. I think everyone's saying Grogan's for their best place to have a pint. So
what's your favourite place to go for a pint of Guinness?
I don't drink Guinness.
What's your favourite place?
Fake Irish person.
Where's your favourite pub in Dublin though to go?
For a quiet pint.
For a quiet pint?
For just a regular pint.
I feel like Jamie's the man to ask here.
Yeah.
I like pints. Probably Cassidy's, to be honest.
Cassidy's.
Oh, yeah.
Decent spot.
Yeah.
A lot of people say either the Cobblestone or Grogan's. That seems to be like the regular thing. So.
It's like they just read last month and it's like, I better say
just
that.
Say the same, yeah.
It's a safe option.
Because I feel like that's a passionate issue. Like, if you say the wrong one, like, you know.
Yeah. Depends what we're talking about as well. If we're talking Central Town, then probably Cassidy's.
Like, I would be...
outside of town.
Yeah. Like,
Are you from Germany as well?
No, I'm from Donovan.
You said that exactly like Finch.
We spend a lot of time with it.
So the Donomead Inn would be...
Absolutely fucking not. No.
Shout out to Donomead Inn.
Yeah, shout out to Donomead Inn. It's good for a demo gig on the off chance. So that's going to be launching over the next few weeks. Then we've got a podcast called The Spark, which is about entrepreneurs in the city. So like the people that make the city tick. So say the likes here, say Sean Bryan and Cut and Sew. I haven't even asked him yet, but I know he'll do it. Like that sort of stuff. But like the people that
that's sweet.
Like do you know what you're talking about? Like
from Nine Crows.
Yeah,
and, like,
that'd be really sweet. That's a really good idea.
Like the way you're talking about the sort of Gary Vaynerchuk and all these people that are like, that's mega aspirational. Like I'm fascinated by the people that like make the cogs that make city Dublin as a city actually work.
And that's much more actually relatable advice as well if they're going to give any or like
they'll tell you how to do everything.
Because like say about how I built this is like they're so far that other direction. They're talking about like, you know, the very start. They're not talking about the process really. Like they're talking about the really interesting parts of the process, but like talking to people who are living the that small business mentality, who are aspirationally have like you know, who are like have aspirations to go huge.
And there's people so
like
on the up that like you can look at and go, you can relate to that. And if you, like say 2 years down the line, why couldn't there be like an absolutely massive company say, oh yeah, we caught them at the start. And like that's exciting. That's another thing. Like District is sort of, it's always evolving into other bits and pieces. That's something that we're really, really passionate about that we just didn't really know.
Yeah.
It's like really, really interested in Irish like business and how we actually, because we're quite restricted in what we can and can't do. So it's like, it's all about the people that are making stuff happen when it's quite difficult.
Yeah. Like that hustle you're talking about, like
That hustle.
Yeah.
that hustle though. District is a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate when people say something was a movie. But you don't have to believe
But
it
that's
now.
one of the things as well, is like when we're saying like just kind of start as well, that kind of teaches you, even if you fail miserably, it teaches you what you don't want to do, or it teaches you,
exactly.
oh no, this would work better as this, you know.
Because never touch that again, like.
Yeah.
And
Exactly,
like the things that we've learned the best are like when things have gone so badly wrong.
Yeah.
Like magazines arriving 40 minutes before our like launch party.
Or not at all.
And
not
you're
at all.
like, this better be right.
Yeah.
Like we still use these as printers. They're really good. But they sent our district guy to Dublin to Galway before, and we were like,
It says it on it, like.
yeah. And we had like our distribution guy there waiting, having a coffee, and he was just like saw me on the phone, and his face dropped, and I'm like, I'm so. I was like, where are they? They're in like Air Square in Galway. I was like, when should I come back? I'm like, I don't know, tomorrow. Or
They're still excellent printers in fairness.
They're very good printers. I think that's a nice story to tell, you know.
Yeah.
We learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
That driver's GPS was rubbish. That's what we learned. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. No, thanks so much for coming on, guys. It's a real pleasure.
Sorry if we waffled there.
No,
with the
no,
last bit
Yeah,
at the end.
that was fun though.
Yeah.
Really
It's off
appreciate you
on
guys
tangent.
coming on. Even do you have personal Instagrams you want to just try out or something like
No,
that? Anything
no,
like
just
that? Just district.
Although
Magazine.
actually no, Craig Connolly, famous blogger.
Oh yeah, my handle is Craig Connolly, the famous blogger.
Perfect.
I
don't have an Instagram.
I'm an Exxon Mobil ambassador. I'm a Puma athlete. I'm the 1999 most improved blogger. What else, man?
Oh, actually, will you listen to my radio show? Actually,
Listen to his radio show.
That's
Listen-
every second Sunday on RT Pulse.
At what time?
Yeah,
6, 7?
6 to 8.
6 to 8,
6
and
to
then even hour break. Then you can listen to Hannah O'Connell's on Spin 103.8 from 9 to 10.
Sweet.
Urban hits.
District Sunday.
On Sunday as well.
It's a district Sunday. Yeah,
Sweet.
and that's it.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys.
No worries.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
very much.
Appreciate it.
All
Thank
good.
you.
Cheers.